How to know that your manifestation work is paying off, that something is happening, that what you're doing is working, because there is a way to understand whether you're doing things correctly or you're completely off. And in this video, I'm going to share with you a few things that will help you understand whether or not you're doing the work correctly, whether or not you're on the right track, so that you either keep doing what you're doing or maybe changing a few things. If you need a more personalized help with your manifestations, you can book a coaching session with me from the link in the description box below. I will be happy to help you. Also, check out the links for my courses. Ask me any questions you have about the courses in the comments below. And let's talk about how to know that, first of all, that you're doing things correctly, and then that it's actually working. Now, in the beginning of any manifestation, in my opinion, you need to give it a few days of time or a little bit of time to get yourself and your mind used to the new idea. Because in the beginning, if you're just starting out manifesting something new, not that you're in the beginning of your general manifestation journey, even when you have experience, you are starting to manifest something completely new for yourself. And at first, it's very normal that your mind will reject it, that you will have the negative thoughts, that it will be back and forth. That is normal. And what you need to do there, it is the work that you have chosen to do, affirmations, your imaginal acts, basically focusing on the end. What I'm talking about here is after a while of doing the work, especially if you're not seeing movement in the 3D yet, how to know you're doing it correctly. Not seeing movement in the 3D doesn't mean anything. I can tell you from many manifestation experiences of my own that nothing can happen for the whole time you're manifesting. No movement, no signs, no whatever, and then manifestation comes. It can come any minute, anytime. So that's that. Just because nothing is moving in the 3D, don't make assumptions that then it's not working. I am going to share something from Neville Goddard, big surprise on this channel, that what Neville Goddard says is, first of all, you need to change yourself. When you are manifesting anything, you're the one that needs to change, because it's your experience that needs to change. And for your physical experience to change, is your inner experience that needs to change. What does that mean? That means that your current self with your current set of beliefs is different from yourself that has already your manifestations and the beliefs that you have at that point. Which means that, for example, if you're manifesting love and you are currently completely aware and focused on how love is lacking from your life, when you have manifested the love that you desire, you don't have the belief anymore that love is lacking. Now you feel the presence of it. And these are two different people. It's the two different you. The same is about money. The same goes for money. If you are completely in a lack mindset of money currently, when you have manifested the amount of money and the abundance that you want, that self is different. You have different set of beliefs. So you think differently, you feel differently, you are just different. You're the one who is changing when you're manifesting. And Neville Goddard suggests to pay attention to your reactions to life. He has entire chapters talking about reactions. And what he says is basically, the first of all, don't react the way that you would react from your old state. to things that are happening in the 3D. And that is something that can be very tricky, even if you have a lot of experience in manifesting. If you're reacting, it's okay, but you need to train yourself to not react to everything that is going on in the 3D. How do you do that? You literally train yourself to not react. You remind yourself that the 3D is a manifestation. Sometimes it's delayed. Sometimes you are, very often actually, you are experiencing a 3D that you manifested from past thoughts and beliefs. And you are now in the process of changing. So one thing to pay attention to understand whether or not your manifestation is working and it's coming and you're doing things correctly is to pay attention to your normal, natural reactions to the 3D. Because when you change your assumptions and beliefs and stories and everything that is going on in your mind, you will notice that you are reacting differently to something that you would react very differently and probably very badly some time ago. So you notice the change in yourself because you are becoming a different person, and you have to become a different person in order to experience a different reality, which is wonderful news in reality because it means it's all in your hands. You are in charge and you can shape your mind to your liking, and thus also shape your reality and physical reality to your liking. So pay attention to your reactions. Now, if you are still reacting a lot, this means that your thoughts haven't changed about it. Your beliefs, your assumptions, your stories, your inner conversations, they haven't changed. Because when you start changing and you start thinking from the end and you become used to that story becomes reality in your mind. And yes, at some point you can have a period where you are completely aware that it's not there yet in your 3D. It's not like you're being delusional. You know, you can see that it's still not here, but that doesn't bother you at all, because in your mind, on the inside, you know it's here. You know it's yours. It's like sort of a transition period where you are in both worlds at the same time, but the 3D isn't bothering you at all. You have no reactions, you don't care, and you feel a lot like in a Matrix. If anyone has seen the movie Matrix, I'm sure many of you have seen that movie. That movie is exactly about this. That there's a 3D that is a mirror of your inner world, and you are controlling the 3D from your imagination. And that is how everything works. So that is a big indication of things having changed. And if you are having a lot of reactions, you're still thinking like your old self, chances are that you are either not focusing on your end goal, or you are focusing on your end goal and you're doing back and forth a lot. And this is something that I see a lot, especially with clients. And many of you, I read your comments, and sometimes they are very telling, and I'm sure a lot of you are doing the work. But if you are doing the work, you're affirming, you're doing all your techniques, but at the same time, you're also affirming the opposite with your negative thoughts and imagining the opposite, dwelling on the arguments, dwelling on lack, etc. That's not going to help. because that story, the problem with that is that that story is already in there. So it's far more easy for your mind to believe your current negative story than the positive one, because the negative one is already impressed. This is why you need to stop yourself when you're thinking negatively, you're having fearful thoughts, etc., and bring yourself back to your end goal, because that is how you train your mind. This is literally about training your mind, getting it used to your new story, whether you do it with thoughts or imaginal acts, inner conversations, however you do it. So if you're, by the way, if you're dealing with really heavy emotions and thoughts and imagination in that moment isn't helping, because sometimes what you're doing in your mind can create a lot more resistance, and that's not helpful. I recommend checking out my course, Release Negative Emotions, which is helping you free yourself from negative emotions without having to affirm or imagine in that moment. And it's a freeing experience. You get rid of the negative emotions that you're dealing with. And the way it's helping manifestation is that you become less reactive in the 3D. So that is very helpful if you're dealing with it. Highly recommend that course. Otherwise, if your affirmations are helping you in that moment, do that. Keep doing that until your reactions change. Because when you see that you are reacting differently, or you're naturally starting to think about the things that you're manifesting differently, your thoughts are naturally from the end. You think your affirmations naturally, you realize that you have changed, you have become a different person, you're calmer, you're more confident, and that is a big indication that what you're doing is working, you're on the right track, you're doing it correctly. Basically, keep doing it, and make sure to not focus too much on how it's not happening in the 3D. It's happening. It's going to come. The 3D is an aftermath of your inner change. Your mind, your thoughts, your imagination, your feeling state has to change first. You can't be in the feeling state of your old self of lack, limitations, fear, negative stories and emotions and have something different. Your reality is an exact mirror of your current self, your inner world. So this is how you know whether or not your manifestation is working. And when I say manifestation is working, manifestation is always working. I mean your manifestation work, the work that you're doing, whether or not you're doing it correctly, whether or not you're actually doing it, because that is a necessity. You have to do the work for your mind to become different, basically. So once again, if you need a more personalized help with your manifestation, you can book a coaching session with me from the link in the description box below. I would be happy to help you with any of your manifestations. Again, check out my courses below, specifically the one Release Negative Emotions. If you're dealing with heavy negative emotions while manifesting, that course can make life a little bit easier for you while you are manifesting. And have a beautiful day, and see you in the next video.